Good evening, everyone. This is Natalie Ellis with Ask the Therapist. Today is Wednesday, November 11th, and thank you all for joining me and asking some of your questions. Today is Veterans Day, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about PTSD and particularly the military veterans. PTSD in regards to military and veterans, and it's ultimately the same for everybody, but because of it's Veterans Day, just wanted to again have this discussion because oftentimes, again, mental health is not something we talk about, and definitely within the military community that may also not be something that's talked about. So just wanted to have this discussion. And so first of all, I want to say thank you to all my military service women and men out there for all the service that they've done, and veterans as well as services that they continue to do. And so we are so grateful to have, people protecting us, the military. So just wanted to give them a shout out. And again, PTSD, and that it's a thing that happens, and it's a real thing, and it's stuff we really need to notice and pay attention to. So the information that I've gotten, the source is the Lone Survivor and the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. So those are where I got some of my information, as well as my the diagnosed books that I have and all those. So let's talk about PTSD for a second. So Posttraumatic Stress Disorder. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, PTSD is a disorder that develops in some people who have experienced a shocking, scary, or dangerous event. Okay, shocking, scary, or dangerous event. And that could be anything for anyone. Okay, so anyone can develop PTSD. Anyone can experience PTSD based on what's going on with them. Okay, so PTSD is a disorder that develops in some people who have experienced a shocking, scary, or dangerous event. It is natural to feel afraid during and after a traumatic situation. There's going to be triggers. There's going to be the fight or flight response that's going on as a way to protect the person from harm. And nearly everyone will experience a range of reactions after trauma. Yet most people recover from initial symptoms naturally, but there are some people who may have lingering effects. And these lingering effects is what we're calling PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And for military people, there's now these terminologies: combat traumatic stress. So combat traumatic stress for those individuals who went to combat. And there's operational stress, and I guess individuals who's performed, who's had operations in the military. And so, again, all that is synonymous with the PTSD. So according to the research, 20% of individuals that served in Iraq and Afghanistan have a diagnosis of PTSD, have experienced some PTSD. And 30% of Vietnam veterans have PTSD. Okay? And so that's a large portion of individuals who served that is struggling with PTSD. And this is something that we need to make sure that they're educated on, and things we need to talk about. So again, we could take away the shame related to PTSD, take away the shame related to mental health. Okay? Let's say 3.6 of U.S. adult population experienced post-traumatic stress in this past year. 3.6 adults, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. 5% of children between the ages of 13 to 18 will develop PTSD in their lifetime. And so I talk a lot about, because a lot of my work is dealing with trauma, and for me, with a lot of my clients, adult clients, children clients, a lot of that work stems back childhood trauma, right? So when you say 5% of children between the age of 13 to 18 is going to experience some form of PTSD, that's a lot. And again, bringing awareness to all of that. On 8 million adults, about 8 million of adults have PTSD during a given year. Okay, so there's a lot of people that's dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder from various experiences, and we could list many: physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, abandonment, in terms of the military war. I recall I had a client who, this was not during wartime, but he was stationed somewhere where every so often he worked on cars, or he worked on in the mechanics, but every so often he would hear bomb. And I recall him really dismissing PTSD because some of the issues he was coming in with sounded a lot like it, and the stuff that was happening in his relationship mirrored, irritability, just a lot of outburst. And both of them agreed that a lot of that occurred after he came back from being stationed wherever he was. And in his mind, he's like, well, I really didn't go to war. I didn't really experience anything that was life-threatening. But at some point during these conversations where he was stationed, he would often hear bombing and things like that. And that itself could be scary too, because sometimes we're not noticing how something affects us until afterwards. In the moment, our adrenaline is pumping, our fight or flight response is there. We're trying to survival mode, so we're doing whatever it takes to survive. And then once we're out of that situation, everything starts coming at us, and that's when we start to experience some of that trauma, and some of those symptoms of trauma. All right, so when symptoms can be flashbacks, nightmares, avoidance, isolation, anxiety, panic. And with panic, your heart starts beating fast. Your body feels out of control. Hyperarousal reactions, anger outbursts, irritation, irritability, frightening thoughts, emotional numbness, loss of interest, easily startled, on edge, tense, right? Can't sleep, oversleep. So these could be different responses that those individuals may be dealing with, and being aware and mindful of it. And the key is, how do all of these things, when they do not get treated, how it could lead to, again, depression, right? Major depression, suicidality, substance abuse, right? So all of that, and again, in relationships, can impact marital relationships and lead to spousal abuse and all of that. Because again, the emotional and behavioral changes that occurs can impact functioning and relationships. And so being mindful and aware of those symptoms that these individuals may be going through. And like I tell people, with whatever it is you're noticing, acknowledge what is happening. And so that's the first step, right? Oftentimes, because of the stigma, because of the whatever the narrative that we have in terms of the need to be strong, the need to not appear weak, we have whatever those narratives are. We often keep things quiet. We often keep things silent and secret, and with secrecy, more shame can occur. So with secrecy, there's shame, and so it's important that we talk about what's happening. We acknowledge what's happening. Okay, and with that, then we can seek help and seek support. And there's lots of support out there. There's lots of help out there to help individuals who's suffering with PTSD, who's going through PTSD. Definitely psychiatric services where they can seek medication, like anti-anxiety medication, antidepressant medication. There's all kinds of medication out there to help lessen some of these anxieties. And then there's also therapy, where there's a space where these individuals can talk in a safe space about the experiences that they've had, and provide them with tools and strategies and skills to manage not only the behavior, but also to work through some of the experiences and the feelings that's occurred as a result of those experiences. And that could be done with cognitive behavioral therapy. And cognitive behavior therapy is helping people recognize cognitive patterns, thinking patterns, and how those things affect emotions as well as behavior. There's exposure therapy, and there's EMDR. So there's all kinds of therapies that's out there that can help individuals deal with PTSD, and as well as there's medication, and seeking support groups, because again, when people find, and that's something that I hear often with militaries, individuals, and people in general, right? When you're finding that, oh, somebody else has gone through what I've gone through, it it gives a sense of relief and support too, right? That you're not the only one going through this. And it's important that we have a space to know that you're not alone, okay? That I'm not alone in this. Okay, so those are just some things to be mindful of. Again, with symptoms of PTSD, we got flashbacks, we have nightmares, we have avoidance, isolation, people who lose interest in things, anxiety, panic attacks, heart beating fast, hyperarousal, easily startled, emotional numbness, loss of interest, on edge, tense, can't sleep. So there's lots of different symptoms that people can look up in regards to PTSD. And again, when you're noticing these things, put words to these emotions, put words to these behaviors, and seek the help. It is okay to seek help. It is okay to experience and to feel whatever it is you're feeling, and know that everything will be okay and can be okay when you get the help and support that you need. All right, so again, thank you so much for all the veterans and servicemen out there that's fought for our country and all the different countries out there, because it's not easy work to do. So definitely appreciate everyone who's doing that work. And know that you are supported. There's services out there for you. There's support out there for you. There's an agency that I'm a part of called Give an Hour, and that agency is for military individuals. It's a free service. It's a service for those individuals who don't have insurance, or even if they do have insurance, they can get mental health services for free. And so that's called Give an Hour, and I'm a part of that. So I offer that service to individuals in the military or their families who need that service. So it's called Give an Hour if you are in need of mental health services. And there's countless other services out there. So definitely seek the help, seek the support, and get the help that you need. So again, my name is Nathalie Ellis. I am a licensed mental health therapist. I'm in the state of Georgia. However, I can also do telemental health services for individuals in the state of Florida virtually. So I'm excited about that. And again, a lot of the work that I do is with individuals with trauma, to help them work through the trauma and to help them develop tools and strategies to manage a lot of the trauma in their body and of course their cognition as well. So thank you so much everybody for joining me today, and have a great rest of your day.